Hello, this is the demo of the ECM Toolbox Importer. Upon opening the application, you're welcome with the main screen here to set up your AE or AX watch folders and destination applications. Top section here is for your watch folders. Bottom section are for the destination applications for AE or AX from 20.4 up to 24.4. To add a watch folder, you just simply click on the Add Watch Folder button here on the right side. Give it a connection name. Usually you can map it to the application name for easy identification. Call this one TCCU. You can either browse or copy and paste the path. It does support local and UNC paths. Click on Add. It adds our connection here at the top. And down here at the bottom, we have to link it to a application. First drop-down box is to select the connection we just created. Note that only connections without an or linked destination will be available in the drop-down. We'll go ahead and select our existing connection and then link it to one of our AE applications. So we'll link it to TCCU. Next option here is for our index file delimiter, comma, pipe, tilde, or tab. For our scenario or demo, we'll be using pipe. And here at the bottom, we have 3 options for imports. We can create new indexes and documents, meaning it will always create new indexes and docs. Merge data with existing docs. It'll first attempt to map the existing index fields in the CSV file with any documents that have matching identical indexes. If found, it will append it to the end of the document. If no identical indexes are found, it will create a brand new document. Update indexes only. It does not import a document, it only updates the indexes. There's more explanation in the guides how the CSV needs to be formatted, but it needs to be able to target the application ID, the document ID, and then the indexes to update. For this demo, we will be creating new indexes and documents to the TCCU application. And each time we add a connection and destination, we want to restart our service. So over here on the right-hand side, we can start, stop, and restart the service. Go ahead and click on Restart. It'll indicate what it just restarted, stopping state, and back into the start state. Back into the destinations, we can highlight our destinations or connections and click on Edit to edit the connection name or path. Click on the Update button if you're making any changes. And again, changes will require a service restart. Down here under the destinations acts the same way. Edit destination, can edit a connection name if it doesn't have already a linked one. You can change the application, update the delimiter, and the import. Also, you'll notice there's 2 new features or 2 new options here at the bottom. When you click on Edit, you can see the application's expected field order. This will be the expected field order the CSV file needs to be in. All fields need to be available. Even if it's a true timestamp field, just leave the field blank in the CSV file. Close. We can also validate our CSV file. Navigate to our path. I can validate single line or multi-line CSVs. Once you enter the path, click on the preview button. You'll see our settings. This is our first line. Line 1 is in the OK status, meaning everything is good. It's showing the delimiter we are using, and here is line 1 with the headers and the values for those fields. Click on next line. Line 2 is OK as well. Next line, we'll see we hit our first error on the social security number field. After reviewing it, so we can see that there is an extra number. We can still continue. It does stop here at the first error it doesn't counter, just to let you know. And it also tells you what line. Obviously here, line number 3 in the CSV file and the position of the value or the field. Next line is OK, line 4. Line 5 looks like we're here at the document date field. It was a required field and we're missing a value. All right, we're not making any updates, so we can go ahead and close on that. Lastly, we have our verbose login here. Not lastly, but we have verbose login here at the bottom. Now, if there's any issues with the application itself, with errors, it's not functioning correctly, Doesn't have to do anything with rejected or successful imports. It's mainly with the UI and service itself. If anything happens, you can recreate the issue, enable verbose logging. You'll see it enabled here at the top. Recreate the error, let it log, and then go ahead and disable verbose login. It does log a lot of stuff, so it will fill up pretty quick. All right, then on our next tab here, we have our monitoring section. For each connection and destination that gets linked, it creates its own separate monitoring log, which is logged to a SQL database table. Clicking on it just gives you a kind of like an Excel layout with columns and rows. Once we do a test import, we will get some data populated here. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll start with just one import for right now. You see it already disappeared and went in. We'll click last 7 days to refresh, and we'll see we have our timestamp of the import, information, the document imported successfully, assigned document ID 91, total page count was 1. See our index file archive location and the document archive location. The rest of the fields are mainly informational, shows your monitor ID, name, station it was imported from, your watch folder and destination application, what option you chose for import options, initiated and completed that. These can also be exported as a CSV Excel format. Just choose your folder and it'll export to that location. You can also purge the logs older than X amount of days. It just can't be the same day. Select number 2, it'll purge the last 2 days. No, it'll purge logs older than 2 days. So all logs get purged older than 2 days. Each page will hold a total of 100 log rows of logs. Next page will bring up the next 100. And once we import more, you can also see the columns we can sort. Next, we'll do a multi-line CSV, which is going to be all 5 PDFs. All right, let's see that those are gone besides one missing PDF or one left behind PDF. Refresh our logs. So this 108 one, it does add the latest imports at the top by default. This was our first import. So let's go ahead and look at our log message. Let's see, this one was rejected. So this is the same import that we just reviewed inside the other screen. So we'll see our document date is not set for this one. It was a required field. That's why that was rejected. Successful. Again, our social security number, one extra number in there. Successful. And here is our hanging 1.pdf file here. It's missing an incorrect file name or path. So it archived the index file, but since the path or file name in the CSV file was incorrect, it could not target the PDF and move it, so it left it hanging behind. And then we can also sort by log level, timestamp. You see we'll go ahead and switch this one to merge. Update, restart our service. I'll grab one file to import. And we'll see our doc ID 89 was targeted. Total page count 3. It does target the first document with the identical indexes. Now it has a total page count of 3. Lastly is the settings page. Over here at the top, you have a personalization to choose your theme. We have light view, dark, or it just uses the default window settings. Access to the user guide and release notes. If Adobe is not installed, it will not open. You'll just download the file. This first section here is your AX import, or these settings here is your AX import utility settings. First section is your AE import settings. This will be the REST URL. This can be AE user account or AD user account, as long as it has permissions inside of AX or AE. data source name, and your archive location. Middle section is your monitor log settings. This will be the SQL Server, username, SQL username and password, and then the database name. This can be handled in its own database or added to the AX database. It creates one table, and it's the only table it ever looks at, reads, and writes. If the SQL user account used here has enough permission to create databases or tables, it can also be done directly here on the UI. For example, we'll change this to demo 8, test our connection. So if connection failed, the database AE23 demo 8 does not exist on your server. You may need to create it. Click OK. You'll see this button is now available. You click create the database to automatically create it. We will not be doing that. As soon as I just replace that value, you'll see it grayed back out. So we'll test our connection again. The next step would be it would detect to see if the table was created. If not, it would automatically create it for you, or actually give you the prompt to create it. But now, since this database already has it, it detected it, click OK, and then we can save our settings. Last option here is your log level settings. You can target just successful imports, rejected imports, or all imports. Your option, click Save. Here at the bottom, you can export your configuration. It automatically just exports directly to the install location with the timestamp onto the folder. And then you can import the configuration by targeting that same folder. It'll import the settings here and all your watched and destinations. And that concludes the demo.
Interested in what Queso can do for you? Subscribe to our channel now and check out these videos.